In video number 1, I had mounted the blanks for the pencil on the mandrel. So we may as well just continue on there. And I've laid out the basic pieces here so that you can sort of see the way it goes. Now, the bushings will be the same size as the diameter of your various little parts here. Like this one here will be the same as this one. This one here will be the same as this one. This one here will be the same as the nib. Now, in some pen kits, it's not like that. In some pen kits, you'll have different sizes. Like for instance, this pen right here. It took 3 different sizes, I believe. Anyway, this one, it's all the same. Now what I want to do is I want to measure these little pieces and I want to draw them out on the computer, and it will give me an idea of what I can do here for the wood. Like this wood has to be turned down. Now it can be turned down straight or it can be slightly curved. And I'm probably going to go for the slightly curved. Now I know up here in Canada we use the metric system, but I'm pretty old and I still think in inches, feet, miles, gallons. I just can't think totally metric yet. So I'm going to do everything in inches and thousandths of an inch. So now okay, so that's 330 thousandths of an inch. Now technically this should be the same. And it pretty much is. Maybe it's 2/1000ths of an inch bigger, or maybe I just didn't hold the caliper the same way. Anyway, I think you can sort of see here what's happening. You'll see better when I actually put this on the lathe and start turning down these little pieces. The idea is that you turn the piece down till you get to the bushing and then don't go any further down. Because if you make it smaller than the bushing, then it's not going to fit properly up against these various parts. Here you see I've got the pen drawn in a more or less assembled way, and it kind of looks like a pen. Anyway, let's say that I was to put those 2 pieces of Manitoba Maple pen blanks over top of it, the way it would look if I hadn't turned it down. Now let's assume I was to turn those pen blanks down so that they were the exact same size as the pen parts. It'd look something like this, and you actually do see it like this a lot. However, I like it a little bit rounded, like this. And there's another reason why I like it rounded. It gives a little bit more wood over top of those brass tubes. Just makes it a little bit stronger. At least that's my opinion. Now if you're wondering what that plywood contraption is, well, that's my dust collector. And it works really well. It's hooked up to my big 3 horsepower dust collector on the other side of the table saw. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's turn this thing down. I switched to a narrower scraper here because that wide one I thought was getting a little close to that tightening nut, and also I put on my magnification goggles so I could just move right in. I didn't want to accidentally touch the bushing with the scraper. rest I'll do with sandpaper. I've pre-cut some strips of sandpaper here. I find it a lot easier if I do it this way. At least it works for me. I think I'll slow it down a bit here. If it's going really fast, I might accidentally take off too much. I can always take it off, but I can't put it back. That sounds about right. After using the 600 grit, this is very, very smooth. Now if you remember, both these pieces used to be the same size, more or less. But after sanding, and this one got taken down, well, it can still go a tiny bit more yet. It's quite a bit smaller. So it's amazing how fast the sandpaper will take it down. That's why I slowed the lathe down. Now this wax that I'm going to use, I have to be careful not to get it on the bushing, because there is an abrasive in it, and what happens is it actually cuts the bushing, and then I get the ends of the blank will darken from the metal that has been removed. So I have to be sort of careful. I'm just going to use this more or less in the center of the wood here, and then I'll use regular polish to do the rest. Okay, I'm going to be doing the parts for the ballpoint pen exactly the same way. So there's no use me showing you that because it's just going to be a repeat of what you just saw here. But anyway, let's see if we can put this together. Okay, we're at the point now where we're going to put these two pieces together. And here I have to exercise extreme caution, and I'll show you why. It's possible that when you force these two pieces together, it could buckle a little bit, and it won't go in straight. So you have to make sure everything is just aligned just right before you actually start putting the force on. And I sometimes will hold it with my fingers. That way I can sort of feel if anything's going wrong. And here we go. Oops. Well, I'm not big on retakes anyway. Couldn't hear even if I wanted to. This Manitoba maple is so white, it almost looks like ivory. But it's not, of course. And you'll be glad to know that no elephants had to lay down their lives to make this video. Well, I'm at the place now where I can actually put it together the rest of the way, and we'll see if it actually works. Now we'll just see if the lead will extend. Oh, there it is. Nothing wrong with that. So now just do the ballpoint pen. And because it's going to be done exactly the same way as the pencil, I'm not going to show you because you've already basically seen it. But I will show it to you after it's finished. And hopefully it's going to pretty much match this. Well, here's the ballpoint pen. And yes, it does match. But now the moment of truth. It works. You know, I've been looking at this pen and pencil set, and they're sort of a ladies set. And by that I mean they're kind of delicate, and anyway, they're not like my pen. This is my pen, sort of a man's pen. Nice and easy to hold on to if you have big thick fingers like I got. And this came from our neighbor's Manitoba maple tree. And I was thinking Mrs. Neighbor, who has been just a tremendous help to my wife, who just a little over 2 years ago now was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And I got a feeling I'm going to give this to her. I think she'd like that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Now, before I put these in their gift box, there's something I want to show you about the pencil that's kind of nice. This comes off and exposes a little eraser, in case you make a mistake. You know, not that anybody would make a mistake, but anyway, that's kind of a nice little touch. Now, just in case Mrs. Neighbor happens to do a lot of drawing with her pencil, here's a package of leads. And maybe she'll do a lot of writing. So here's a couple of extra refills. Oh, notice on the ends of these refills they're putting little plastic tips. I guess that's to help keep them from drying out. Of course they have to be removed before you try to put them in the pen. Thank you, Mrs. Neighbor, for being so helpful.